Guys, welcome back to another chapter of One Piece, chapter 1140. And it was a nice little break after we had four straight chapters, and we had a break. No break for next week, thankfully. And let's get a drink, coffee, tea, and jump straight into the chapter. So we get revealed it's old tea on the cover page. Made sense out of the silhouettes. We catch up right where we leave off with Scalper Gabon. Now, the chapter name is Scalper Gabon, although I feel like last chapter had a bit more about him. But anyway, he is challenging them to take the key from him. And Luffy, of course, is like, what are you talking about? I'm just going to take this key from you. And he goes to reach, and we see a lot in this chapter of the after image that Scopper, even in his old age, he is very fast. It's juking out Luffy, and he is able to do it multiple times, and Luffy's just trying to reach for him, and he surprises both of Zoro and not Sanji, Zoro and Luffy, that he hockeys up. And I love the panel drawing where he's like partially giving hockey to the key, not making it so fast because it's such a large key. He's doing the whole thing, and he smacks Luffy right over the head, surprising Zoro Luffy that he is doing so much, not damage, but he's knocking him to the ground. I don't know, we can't tell if Luffy is using observation hockey. I feel like Scopper is using observation hockey or even advanced observation to weave out of the way from all the multiple moves that Luffy's trying to do. But we don't know if Luffy is using observation hockey or trying his hardest, because I feel, has his guard down. So I don't know how much observation hockey he has uptime, like continuously running, if he's able to do that, or if he has to concentrate on activating it in that sense. But as Luffy's getting more and more frustrated, and I haven't seen this in a while, or I don't remember the last time seeing this, that Luffy contorts to the shape of whatever is hitting him in base form. I don't remember this happening on Luffy. We've seen Luffy take damage and contort to the shape of whatever's hitting him in Gear 5 in Wano against Kaido with the club and stuff. Sorry. But I don't remember him taking the shape of something unless but even then he's just eating it, and he's contorting size that he's getting bigger, but not that he contorted to the shape of whatever hit him, in this case, the key. Just wanted to point that out there. Maybe he has. I haven't remembered. It's 1,140 chapters of content that maybe it's lost in a chapter that he actually did contort to something. But anyway, let's continue. And he gets serious. And this calls back to a moment in Wano, but he gets serious. He gets two axes, and I forgot what the name, in the translation I'm reading, he calls it Grim Throng, and he's naming an attack. And I feel like Luffy, this is where Luffy gets a little sense like, oh, this is gonna be bad. This is bad. I see something like in his observation, or something is tingling, that he's freaking out in the panel where he is shocked at what's gonna happen right now. And even Zoro says dodge, which reminds me of the time when Big Mom told Kaido, dodge that attack, it's gonna cut you. And it cut the horn on the top of Onigashima and everything. And in this case, Zoro jumps in to block it, because Luffy doesn't do good versus sharp attacks, versus sharp blades, sharp objects, in at least his base form. And even Gear 5, probably not. But he blocks the attack, and Luffy dodges one of the slices, and you see in the next panel it's cutting a portion of the castle, and it cuts the back of the cloud further out into the into deep unknown territory. Like, it just keeps going. This is great. It feels like a callback to what Zoro did, although not to the degree, because of the sword that he used and how much he focused on the attack to actually kill the person that he's trying to aim it at, which was Kaido in this case. But that's awesome. And then Road is freaking out because he knows who this is. It's like, that's Scopper. That's the left hand of the Pirate King. But and everybody they're freaking out. Like, this is actually like a very tough old man. This is surprising the entire crew. And well, not Scoppers. Not Road. Road knows who this is, and it's like, guys, you gotta be more serious. They don't get to find out, which is tragic. And we get some really good stuff in the upcoming portions. But we get Gear 5 Luffy, get serious, and we have him holding an axe, and it's white. So I don't know how does he affect everything he touches. We know he has damn near godly-ish powers where he's able to conjure up almost anything out of his sash, but he has a white axe and he grabs his axe, and I'm like, Luffy, what are you gonna do? I've never seen Luffy hold a weapon except for the sword, and the only reason he held the sword was because he just punched people with a sword in his hand. It was hilarious. But he's never held a weapon, and he's holding the axe like he's gonna use it because he had the axe on his back the whole time. But we never get to see him use it. And then they're loading up their attacks. Scopper eyes and he sees, so he has a great crew. That's the white form. My boy, is Yonko level. And they're charging up their attacks, telling him to brace for what's going to happen. And I give up. He just drops his axes. I give up. And they both just launch their attacks to the side because they can't stop with their momentum. We've seen it before, where Luffy, when he used the bazooka in Marineford, he's launching the attack and he has to shoot it downwards because of the momentum. He can just stop in the middle of it. And they just go to the sides. They're freaking out because it's like, what games are you playing? You just tried to kill me with that attack. And he says, such a Luffy answer almost. It's like, well, you're not dead, right? You're alive, aren't you? It's like, well... he's like, well, it's all good. The key's over there. You completely ignored it after I threw it at you. It's so good, man. It's just Oda's writing is so good. It's just so many chapters through time, and it's just always hitting. And he says, come find me when you finish an Elbaf and we're all safe. And if everything's good and we're all safe, come find me. And they're all just laughing, just like, why would we come back to find you? They still don't know. Road says, guys, you don't know this guy is, and Scopper says, don't tell them. They'll come find me. And he's so like confident, like he's so cocky, smiling and leaving. No response, nothing, just leaving. And we have the flashback of Shanks talking to Scopper, saying, you'll like him. Just trust me. You'll like him and all that. He's like, how am I supposed to trust that? I'll test him or whatever. We don't get much of the context, but we do know that Shanks talked to Scopper, and we do have a lot of panels with him and the mark on his face that looks like a fire mark, the man marked by flames. So it wasn't the obvious answer of, at least we don't know yet, but it wasn't the obvious answer of, what's his name? The giant with the fire. Oh my god, I'm blanking on his name. Saul. So it wasn't a Saul who was literally burned. It's the man marked by flames here. It's just one scar on his face. Not sure what it would have been the scar of, but maybe we do get context of what the scar is. But Luffy and his crew do know that they're looking for a man marked by flames. Called that. And we go over the school, we cut to the children pointing at this weird bird and they don't see it. We cut to some of the best content we know and we see, I think, of this I don't know, it's just like Scopper stuff, Holy Knight stuff. They're both like awesome stuff. We're continuing through the story, but we see that Gunko is able to create a summoning circle, so they don't need doesn't matter where they are. They probably need one located at where they want to go. They can't just appear, but it looks like the Holy Land is probably under a giant circle, and wherever they place a mark, and Gunko can make the mark, and it looks like the castle had a mark, they're able to teleport willingly. So she just spawns a circle, and in the middle of that spawns the people. And Oda plays one of the things that people have mentioned, like, what would happen if somebody's just on the toilet but get randomly teleported, and we have not exactly that, but we have a situation like that happen where we have two new Holy Knights introduced. And one guy, what's his name? He is called Saint Summers from House Shepherd, which is, I believe, the house of Saint Peter, Saint Jupiter. And he is on his couch or like a chair. He's just relaxed, chilling. He's like, "Oh, okay, don't worry. Yeah, I'll tell her. I'll go to Elbath. Just we have time, right? I need time, like an hour or so, to get ready, to dress up." And he's talking and talking, and he's just like not even. I guess it doesn't even phase. You don't even realize you teleported because he's like, "Oh, Gunko, what are you doing in my living room?" And it's so funny because you teleport people in the middle of whatever they're doing, no warning, nothing, and he just realizes I'm in Elbath, and the thing teleports his whole, not his whole living room, but everything around him just kind of teleported with him, and he just grabbing clothes to put on at the same time. It's That's such a good little gimmick. I'm glad I read that because I'm glad that was incorporated in the story, because the other guy that gets teleported, Saint Quillingham, at least in this translation, he looks like a kitten. He looks like a he's running on his mythical hybrid form. It looks like some people are saying this looks like a mythical Zoan fruit because it looks like a kitten. A kitten is a mythical being, and he's just there. But he looks like he's running around trying to go to where they're supposed to meet, and he's running, and in the middle of teleporting, he teleports running, and he's tripping over himself. So that's awesome. I want to know more about this person. He has what looks like a weird trident design for a weapon, and he is like in his hybrid mythical Zoan form. Because remember that um, what's her name? Wow, I forgot her name too. The mythical form from there, even though she is in hybrid form. Let me remember the name. Wow, it just blew. I'm blanking on it. Also, what's her name? Kaido's daughter. Um, yeah, it starts with a Y. Gosh, I'm blanking. Uh, anyway, let's go with that. Kaido's daughter, when she entered into a hybrid form, she has the white, claw, the white thing going around her also. But from what we know, they weren't awakened. It was just like their natural form, and this looks like that instance where in their natural hybrid form, they have their white cloak around them. And it's not cloak; it's just like this weird cloud around around their heads, around their shoulder, heads, neck area. So it's not that they're awakened; they have a mythical Zoan fruit. So that's if it's true, if it's a mythical Zoan, it's another one added to the list. We keep getting more mythical Zoans, but a Holy Knight would make sense that they have one. So they're getting ready, and they're talking about the Shamrock. So unfortunately, Shamrock has to leave the zone and go back because it's a tall order from higher ups that, hey, you gotta get back. We have important business. We sent two people here to replace. Oh, we sent one extra person because you gotta go back. And I wonder what that is about. Is that a promotion? Because everything